numbers with radicals. And we said that it's like combining like terms. So when I look at a problem like 6 times the square root of 3 plus 2 times the square root of 3, I need to be looking at what is underneath this radical. If they are the same number, then I can combine them. And I'm going to combine just the numbers outside the radical, which would be 6 and 2. And I would keep what's underneath the radical the same. So when I combine 6 and 2, I get 8, and what's underneath the radical was the square root of 3. So my answer is 8 times the square root of 3. If I take a look at something like what you have today for homework, it's going to look similar to this. Now, if you take a look at everything that's underneath the radical, there are no terms that are alike. So what I need to do is I need to take this 27 and this 98 and see if I can factor some numbers out so that I can create like terms. When I factor 27, I get 3 and 9. 3 is a prime number. I'm going to circle that. And 9 is not, so I continue to factor. And I get 2 more factors of 3. So I circle those. And if I write it out underneath the radical, I would get 3 times 3 times 3. If you recall from yesterday, when I have a pair of numbers underneath the radical, I can move one of those out. So the square root of 3 times 3 times 3 would actually become 3 times the square root of 3. So this is now what I would put in place of this 27. For 98, when I factor it, I end up with 2 and 49. 2 is a prime number, so I can circle that. 49 is not, and it has factors of 7 and 7. 7s are both prime numbers, so I can circle those and be done. When I simplify, I will get 7 times 7 times 2 underneath my radical. Since I have a pair of 7s, I can move one out and get 7 times the square root of 2. So let's see how these go back into the equation. Since I did not do anything with 25 times the square root of 2, I'm just going to write it back down. I have to now change 2 times the square root of 27 to 2 times 3 times the square root of 3, since they are the same number. And then I will do the same thing with my next term with radicals. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 7 times the square root of 2. I cannot simplify this first term, so I just write it down, but I can do 2 times 3, which would be 6. So my middle term is now 6 times the square root of 3. My last term, I can multiply the 3 and the 7, which is 21 times the square root of 2. Since this has a square root of 2 and this has a square root of 2, I can combine those two numbers and would end up with 4 times the square root of 2 plus 6 times the square root of 3. I cannot combine these, so this is my answer. Thank you.